1, 2, 3.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Just wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in and being patient with me. Just been having to take a little mental break and I've been working on some uploads, but without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to take the hyaluronic acid from Studio Makeup and I'm going to rub that all over my face and neck. Now it's time to take my donut gel eye cooling patches and put them on my eyes. I'm going to leave them on for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Oh my god. Don't mind my silliness. Anyway, 5 minutes. Now it's time for the Ordinary Caffeine Serum, and I'm just going to put that all over my face just like I did the hyaluronic acid. This product is supposed to be used to help get rid of any puffiness that you might have under your eye, but I like to use it all over my entire face. I've been using it for a short time, but I have seen some difference in the puffiness under my eyes. Going over that with the Ordinary Moisturizing Cream, I'm going to go all over my face and down my neck as well. Now I'm going to use the 100% cocoa butter stick. I got this product from my local hair supply, and sometimes I order it online when I can't find it or when I don't feel like going to the hair supply, but I've been using this stuff for years and it really gets me right, y'all. Using Anastasia Brow Pomade in the shade Dark Brown. As you can see, I made my brush really flat to make the outline of my brows as thin as possible, and I'm going to blend that in and use the side of my brush to fill in more than just as if I was making strokes. And I'm going to fill in the front of my brow with small strokes and use my spoolie to blend that all in to make my brows look natural, but also to make them look pop because they're looking kind of thin. So yeah. Now I'm going to use some LA Girl Pro Concealer. Had it upside down. Anyway, it's in the shade Fawn, and I am going to use that to outline my brows, and I'm going to use a brush to blend it all in. After I blend my concealer, I'm going to take a beauty blender with a little bit of powder on it to set my brows and my concealer. I'm taking some e.l.f. matte setting spray and I'm just going to set my brows with that. I sprayed it on my spoolie and I just went over my brows a little bit and left it just like that. And now I'm going to use an eyebrow base. I'm not sure what the name is, how to pronounce it. I believe it's either Kaida or Kita, I'm not sure, but it's in the shade 2, which is medium, I believe. And I'm just going to dab that all over my lids. Now here I'm going to take a beauty blender with no product on it, and I'm basically just going to not set it, but make it more smooth on my lid. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other lid as well. I'm going to dip into the OPV Beauty Spotlight palette, and I'm going to take that shade Star And I'm also going to go into the LA Colors Peach Fizz palette and take that shade right there and blend those two together to create a nice pinky shade. I'm going to go over my crease and wing it out a little bit. I'm going in between both shades because I don't want the pink or the red to be too red, and then I don't want the tan to be too tan. So I'm really just trying to make a type of pink shade over my lid. That's all. I'm just going to layer it up little by little. Now I'm going to create a sort of cut crease with my concealer from earlier. I didn't want the cut crease to be too bright, so that is why I chose that shade. I wanted it to be a slight transition. Now I'm going to just blend that out with my Real Techniques brush, the same brush that I used to blend out my concealer for my brows earlier. Not using any setting powder yet, but I'm just going to take my damp beauty blender and dab all over that concealer just to create a more smooth look. And then I'm going to take more of that pink and tan shade and define the eyeshadow more.
Four niggas mad I fuck they hoe. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Taking more concealer, I'm just going to help shape the edge of that eyeshadow. And then I'm going to blend that out a little bit under my eye and leave it at that. Going back into that Peach Fizz, I'm going to take that same shade and set my concealer finally. I'll be using the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer in the shade 13 to conceal my under eye and the bottom of that eyeshadow. Using a beauty blender, I'm going to slowly dab and start more from the bottom and blend up towards the bottom lash line. Just taking my time and slowly pushing it into my skin. Now I'm going to take the back side of that beauty blender to dab out any harsh line from the concealer. Using the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 332 Golden Caramel, I'm going to set my concealer with a fluffy brush. I felt like instead of using a sheer or a white or whatever type of loose powder, I would get a pressed powder, and I heard very good things about this powder, so I decided to try it. This is not my first time trying it, but I really like it. I feel like it helps a lot with creasing. Now I'm just going to set that and I'm going to let it dry just a little. I'm going to press that setting spray into my under eye, and I'm also going to set it again. Also, while taking that same Fit Me pressed powder, I'm going to just go all over my face to even everything out and help it look more smooth. I'm just using a fluffy brush, and I feel like it really makes a difference rather than just having a bare face, because I wasn't going to do foundation today. Now it's time for lashes. I do not remember the name of these lashes, but I do know, well, the company. I don't remember the company, but I do know that the name is Belle, as you can see right there, and I use the Duo Lash Glue. I've had this for a while. I actually have to get more because I'm running out, but that's the one with the lavender in it, and I'm just going to line right over my eyelashes. I find it way easier to line my lash line first rather than the actual lash itself. Even though it gets on my lashes and I have to clean them off, it's just easier that way. As you can see, I'm laying the lash right on top of my lashes, and then I'm just going to press it into my lash line and get it as close to my lashes as I possibly can. Now I'm just going to sort of pull my lid skin over the strip part of the lash to help it blend in, and it's gonna stick to that part of the lash. And eventually, when I'm done, I like to show what the results are, and it looks like it's actually coming out of my eyelid. That is what I like. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this before. If you have, mention them in the comments. But this is just how I do it. This is my process. Now I'm going to use the Maybelline Sky High Mascara. I've heard good things about this product. I used it one day on my natural lashes and they looked really good, so I decided to use it again today. I don't normally use mascara, but I'm just going to blend in my lashes with the falsies, mostly on my lashes, not on the falsies, because I don't want the falsies to be too dark and then they'll look fake, and I still want them to be natural and flat out like how they were when I took them out of the packaging. I'm going into the Wander Beauty Wanderess Escape palette, and I'm using that shade Flourish to highlight my inner corners. Now I'm going to use my dense rounded brush, and I'm going to take the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer in the shade Deep, and I'm just going to contour my nose. I'm going to use the same brush that I used for that pressed powder and just blend out any harsh lines that I see. Now I'm going to layer up and take the leftover NYX concealer on that brush and just create my cheek contour. Now I'm blending and getting rid of any more harsh lines with that same brush from earlier. And now I'm going to use a flat fluffy brush and go back into the same palette and use the shade Overnight to set my contour. Back to that same brush that I used with the pressed powder, I'm just going to blend out any more harsh lines that I see yet again. Now I'm going to take the Maybelline Cheek Heat in the shade Nude Brown or 15. This is a sheer blush or a sheer cream blush, and I'm just going to dab some of that on my finger, move it around a bit, and dab it all over the places where I want my cheeks highlighted. Gonna go back into that cheek heat with my blush brush from Real Techniques, and I'm just gonna dab all over what I just did. Going back into that same eyeshadow palette from earlier, I'm gonna take the shade Edge and set my blush with that. Just realizing I forgot to use primer. Oh well. Now I'm just going to highlight the rest of my face with that same shade Flourish from earlier. And again, you guessed it, that same brush from earlier to blend out any harsh lines and to make the highlight look smooth. Now I'm using the Dragon Beauty lip liner. I don't know what shade that is, but it's really pretty, and I'm just gonna line my lips with it. Now I'm just gonna go over my lips with the Han Diane Liquid Matte Lipstick in the shade 1. There are no shade names, just numbers. As you can see, it's pretty bright and I was kind of afraid to use it, but we went in with it anyway. Now it's a pretty shade, but I felt like it was too bright, so I took some of that leftover concealer from earlier and the Fit Me powder from earlier and dabbed all over my lips to dull down the color some, to help it blend in more with what I'm actually wearing and with my eyeshadow. Now I'm going to complete my eye look with the pink shade from earlier, and I'm just going to get my under eye. And I'm just going to set my face again and help that dry. I believe I do this twice. The second time I didn't let the setting spray dry all the way, but I did take my damp beauty blender and pressed it into my face to help the makeup be more smooth. And now it's time for some slow-mos. This is the finished look. If you guys like it, comment down below, like the video, and subscribe. This look was really fun to create. I am looking to get more out of my box when it comes to eyeshadows and like different colors and shades of makeup, so stay tuned for that. I felt like that pink was a little too pink, so I just did some Dragon Beauty again and lined my lips with a little lip gloss, and I felt like it evened out the makeup look. Plus there was a lot of pink anyway.